everybody. And I'm sorry, that's from us. That influence came from us. Hands down.
I'm joined today by Brandon, who is the founder of Rise Above Fitness, but obviously you guys probably more know him as the lead singer of Bleeding Through and a voice of many, many people's youth. But Brandon, how are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. You know what I mean? Like this year's off to a
Yeah.
good start. Like last year I feel like it was really tough and I don't really know why. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just kind of feel like in a weird funk, right? And I felt like last year I was in it. It was like weird. So I was really looking forward to like a fresh start this year, you know what I mean? And I know it's kind of cliche to be like New Year's like resolutions and stuff, but I think it actually is cool that people do have like something that's like a fresh start. You know what I mean? Like something that they'd be like, okay, well, now I can be better. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like a free pass for something, and like I back that. I back that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so do you feel like that's you've had a fresh start this year so far? Has it been a good year so far?
So far, it's been pretty good. I mean, we started off like the band as we went to Australia as our first
Yeah.
shows of the year. That was awesome. The gym's just off and running. I mean, I've been in business for like 15 years. And it's really crazy that I can't even believe that like we've been around for 15 years in like the gym world. In the gym world, that's like 100 years, especially for like an independent gym. Very, very proud of it. We have great clients. It's a great community there. It's a good, we get a lot of people that just need it. You know what I mean? It's like a community, and people do need that sort of community, and it's not available at a lot of gyms, right? And so when I started the gym, that was the whole goal, was to build like a culture and be somewhere where like, people can come and just like air it out. You know what I mean? Like just they've had a shit day, come in, lift, we'll have some laughs. People are in there. They know each other. We're listening to good music, and it's just a positive thing. So, it's still, I think that's what's kept it around, because it is very, like authentic. It's not trying to be like anything else. It is very, I mean, I guess you could say it's very me, but I draw inspiration from my clients and the people that go there, and it's just like it's well lived in, and it's you know it is me though. You know what I mean? Like,
I was thinking about this earlier. I first noticed that you guys were looking really like buff on stage when it was like I think it was like the show in San Diego in 2006 that's online. It's like the full, and I was looking at I can't remember your drummer at the time, but he was just like
yeah.
his arms were massive, and I was like, wow, those guys work out, which is wild because like metalcore always had this like stigma around of like touring and just bad eating and things like that.
Well, I mean, like, I was inspired by people like Henry Rollins. You know what I mean? Inspired by people like Glenn Danzig. I was drawn to people that had like a physique, and I think the reason why I was is because I knew that person was dedicated. You know what I mean? And disciplined. That's something that like I wanted to convey through my band, and also I knew that would help me have a longevity in this career. And it is something where without fitness, I don't think that I would be doing it still. You know what I mean? And doing it at a high level, because I will say, like, I believe that Bleeding Through, honestly, now is a better band, even live. You know what I mean? That's a tribute to the people in our band being healthy. And, everybody works out more now, actually, than we did back then. And like even Marta and Derek, our drummers, in fantastic shape now. And I think that gives us like we're proud of that. You know what I mean? And it's like, because we do play a lot of bands that are older, and you see them play, or like a band comes back for a reunion, and you're just like, bro, like, get in shape. Like the singer makes it like 3 songs and then he's done. There's just people like dudes that got fat and they're still trying to wear like fucking youth mediums, and you're like, dude, come on. So like we came back after COVID, at least, after that little like break of, we came back in 2018, 19, started getting on a roll, and then COVID put a halt to that. And I knew that coming back from that, like we needed to bring it, you know what I mean? And we did. Like, it just, I'm very proud of us. And I know that's kind of weird to say because like bands are like, I'm a humble person, but I will give us credit for that. Like
Yeah,
we pay a lot of attention to that, you know what I mean? To performance.
100%. And I like when you look back at the early days of Bleeding Through, like you guys have always been a solid band. Like I've followed you
Thank you.
guys since I first found you guys on a sampler. I think it was a Victory Record sampler, and I think or
Probably
Trust
try.
Hill. Yeah, yeah, that was it. Um, and I think it was Love Lost. I was the first song I heard from you guys, and
Yeah.
but so it's always been solid, and I always feel that like you guys have gone strength to strength, which is fast. Bands go through like, oh, their first album was the only good album type thing, but you guys have been consistent throughout the years. Um, would you say
Yeah.
like things that what do you hear in yourself now that you didn't recognize at the time in the early days of Bleeding Through?
Um, Comfortability, maturity, creativity, still really not giving, you know what I mean? Like being ourselves, being authentic. Um, I think the new record is definitely that, you know what I mean? I think it's when you listen to it, you're like, this is so bleeding through, but it's so like musical, you know what I mean? And like, if you listen to it, it's dark, it's emotional, it's meaningful, but it's musical. And it's like, we really tapped into what we do well, you know what I mean? And really kind of let ourselves go with it and create. And we've always done that. And it's what's weird to me is like, I go back and I listen to our old records and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm like, whoa, we like wrote that? Like, you know what I mean? And I think we had the creativity always. We always wanted to be different and whatever, but like, I don't think we knew it then. And it wasn't like a conscious effort. It just kind of flowed from us. But this time we wanted to like really harness that and like really like push that forward consciously. And when I listen to it, I think that it's just a mature record. It sounds, it's a mature record, but like when I listen to it, I'm like, this could be like a new band. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, I find when bands come back and do like records after like all these years, like sometimes you just, it loses that fire, it loses that emotion. Uh, and I think that we've always had that, and it really, really came through on this new.
I've heard the single that you guys have put out. Is the full album out now, or is it just because I?
Yeah,
Oh, it is. I did.
it's a year old.
Oh, I need to go and listen to that.
You know what's awesome about that
What's
though?
that?
It's a new record to you.
Yeah, 100%.
To you.
Would you say that your emotional relationship with music has changed over the years?
I don't think so, man. I think like when I tell people like my thing with music is like a romanticized. It's like I love it. I love the connect. I love the connection with like fans and people that we meet, and that's such a big part of it. And that's always been the part of it, and that's always kept us connected and in it. You know what I mean? I've always used it as a tool to let my emotions out, um, connect on emotionally with other people that need that as like something. Because like growing up, my escape from all the shit in my head was music. You know, I dove into music. I like really took on lyrics. I really like analyzed them in my mind, tried to find a place for me and them. And I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to be that type of singer with lyrics that people can like use and sort of like make it about them, make it personal, you know? And I think when we started doing that, there wasn't really a lot of bands like us that were doing that. It was like tough guy. And it's like, it's like that wasn't really our vibe. Like we connected on a level, and it's like I knew that it was connecting because like the first show we ever played with a demo, it was like people came up and said, you know what, like your lyrics, I connect with them, like on a, it helped me. And I'm just like, dude, that was heavy. Like I never expected that, but I won't lie. Like I've always wanted to have that sort of influence. And I just, that's like the mission. That's just been the mission. You know what I mean? And it's helped me. It's keeping me alive. It's giving me that purpose. And it's just like, it's amazing.
It's so wild because I've kind of had that. I really connected with like This Is Love, This Is Murderous, and I've always sat down with that record and I'm like, man, someone hurt you. I connected with that because I went through, like a lot of, like, I was going through a tough time at the time, and it was just, you were putting into words emotions that I was feeling.
I was I was in a space where I was just dealing with like a lot of old baggage, and I just felt like putting it out there was going to like release it. And it was like the lyrics were so sporadic. I remember like listening to tracks off that, just like mute, like just instrumental tracks, and trying to write lyrics. And I'm like, just nothing's flowing. Right. So then that's when I kind of realized that like I write lyrics not to the music. Like I could remember the song in my head, but I'll construct it then. And it's like, I had this job at a coffee shop, right, during that. And I remember I probably wrote 9 of those songs at work, like on little brown takeaway bags. I wish I would have kept them. You know what I mean? Because it was like, that's what I wrote on, because when I was there and I had like time, like I was thinking about the music and I was thinking about lyrics. And that's when like I was really tapped into like what I was feeling. It's kind of weird. You never know when it's going to like hit you. Like what's going to inspire you, where you're going to be when you get that like musical inspiration or that lyrical inspiration. What's going to spawn it, what's going to be that muse. And it's like, you know yeah, that record, it was emotional, man. I mean, I'll be honest, the truth for me was the most emotional. um This Is Love, Is Murderous was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? Like it was happening and then we're just like, oh, it was just so overwhelming that I don't think I really got to process it much, because it's like that record came out and we were just playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. And I didn't really process that record until like a couple years ago when we did the 20-year anniversary, where I sat down with those songs again and listened to it and dove deep into it and really tried to like think about what I was thinking and feeling back then. And yeah, it's deep, but the truth is something that's super dark to me. You know what I mean? Like that was something that the that was really like my therapy, that record. You know what I mean?
I love that album as well. And I think you worked with Ryan Clark on the artwork with that one, didn't you?
Yeah, Ryan
Like,
Clark
yeah.
did the artwork for This Is Love, This Murderous, and The Truth.
Oh, amazing. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Yeah. That album though, that, yeah, I would agree. That was it. It was almost the next level for you guys as well. Like musically, it just, you threw so much in there.
yeah.
Would you say like the writing those two albums? Would you say they were catharsis at the time, or was it more survival?
Uh, Kind of both, right? Like I needed to get that stuff out, and it also was like, yeah, so it was kind of cathartic for me. Um, but it was like I knew I needed to get those things out into the world for like my life. You know what I mean? Like I hold on to things a lot, and I just needed to kind of let it out. And again, it was like, yeah, that record really helped me through time, because at that time, like I was super depressed. Like I was, there's a lot of expectation on Bleeding Through, and I never thought we'd be at a point where it's like people had expectations on us. I thought we would just be a band that toured around in a van and played shows and made enough money to pay our rent, and just that's it. And it's like the success of This Love, This Murderous was crazy, and I don't think we didn't realized it. It was like we're getting like calls from like our label being like, dude, you sold this week. And we're like, what's that mean? Like we had no idea. You know what I mean? But the truth was something where I was depressed about it, because it was like, I didn't know how to deal with that expectation. It made me mad. It made me feel like used, like people, like the expectation was like going to make them feel better if it succeeded. And they didn't really care like what we felt towards it. Like record label management, booking agents, it was just like they were so hyper focused on what the record's going to do first week, and you know, this number would be successful, this number would be a failure. And it's like, that whole record cycle, I just felt like I failed, you know, because it didn't meet expectations of people, but those expectations were super high. You know, like, we weren't going to be the next Killswitch Engage. We just wanted to be Bleeding Through, and then nobody really understood that. Everybody just, oh, this band's going to be the next blah and the next blah. And I'm like, well, black metal influence isn't really the most popular thing in the world, right? So like, I mean, that's what we like to do and keep it raw and emotional. And it's like, we're interesting, and we're almost like too complex for some people. So the expectations really made me depressed.
Well, that must be, yeah, that must be tough to deal with, just having all of that pressure on you from like everyone, I guess. And so with as long as you guys been going with like long careers, I guess you're going to go through the highs and lows. What's really kept you grounded through everything?
Um, our friendship, you know, like me, Derek, and Marta have been in the band for like 23, 24 years. Those people, the friendship, the bond that we have, um, that really keeps us driving. It really keeps us grounded. Um, Knowing that the only thing that matters is really just still playing this music and not having unreal expectations for ourselves. Because I feel like when we were back then, those expectations just kind of ruined it. And we kind of made a pact to ourselves, like, let's just go be us. We're not letting anybody down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so hyper focused on numbers back then, and that's what keeps us grounded now. Is we truly play this music because we love playing songs, and playing in this band together and traveling together keeps our friendship alive, and there's like a lot of love there. Getting to go places where we have history with, meeting people, seeing people that have been going to our shows for like 20 plus years, and you know, that keeps us grounded, that because that's like a commitment from them. That's a humbling thing, and we really appreciate that from our fans. They've been so loyal for so long, and that actually grounds us because we do feel like we're one of them. We're just on that stage, you know what I mean? Like, we've never been a band that felt like we were above anything, and I think our fans know that. And we're very transparent. I'm very transparent. I am emotional. I will cry. I don't give a, you know what I mean? Like, really, I mean, no pun intended, but I don't care. Like, I am me, and my band is them. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's okay with themselves. Nothing left to prove. No one to. We don't need to succeed for anybody else other than be existing for ourselves.
Like I think when you have that freedom to just be you, and there's no expectations, I think that really does come across, and people can hear that. It's like, you know, when for me, when Declaration came out,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is something new altogether. But I liked there is not an album that I don't like by you guys, and but you can hear the distinct differences in each different album, and there's something unique about each one.
Totally. I agree. And I like that about us. There are a lot of bands that just sounds like a continuation. And really we write to the vibe. Like Declaration, for example, man, we were pissed. Like, we were jaded. We were tired. We were just burnt out. You know what I mean? The industry really got to us. We were at odds with our label. We were touring 8 months a year. Like, it was rugged, man. And if you listen to that record, you're like, I don't think there's another record that we've done where when you listen to it, you're just like, oh, like, sounds rugged. You know what I mean? It sounds raw. Um, and it really does tell a story of what we were kind of dealing with back then. That was like coming off of the truth where we had those expectations, and we felt like we just didn't meet them because people, who cares? People have higher expectations. It was a very successful record. We always played successful shows. I don't know if they wanted from us, but that record was such a fuck you, man. It was, you know, all the bands around us that we grew up with and played with, like 18 Visions and Throwdown and Atreyu and Thrice, and all these bands were writing like rock records. And I think everybody expected us, you know, to pull the Avenged Sevenfold. Everybody wanted to be Avenged Sevenfold. No, nothing bad about them. Those are our homies, and I love that and respect that band and love that band. But that wasn't us. And that record really was a declaration to say to the industry, that's this is us. Like, we're not a rock band. We're not going to try to write radio songs. Like, for what? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we were saying to the industry. That's like why the title was Declaration. It was just a pissed record, man. I love that record.
I do as well. I listened to it in the gym earlier, actually. That's, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So did that play, because I'm sure there are interviews about it and I've not really looked into it, but did that play a part into why you guys kind of stepped back for a minute because you took a hiatus for a while?
Well, we did Declaration, and then we put out a couple records on Rise Records, the self-titled and Great Fire, and we love those records. I feel like we just needed a pause. We toured our asses off and did everything, and I needed to kind of like I wanted to start a new chapter of my life with the gym, and I had an opportunity to do that and open my gym. Marta wanted to have kids. Derek had kids. You know what I mean? It's like I just feel, I mean, the band didn't really agree with me much when I kind of forced that decision. But I just kind of was like, guys, we need to like step back and establish a life outside of this band because we're getting older. We're not going to want to tour 8 months a year, like let's establish something else so we can come back to this, and we don't need it for financial purposes. We could do whatever the fuck we want. We could say no. We just everything on our terms. And we went through it, and like, after about 4 years, I'm just like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? I didn't know for sure that we were ever going to come back, because if I would have approached the band and they would have said no, then it would have been no. But I always kind of had it in the back of my mind, like, let's take a beat and let's hopefully come back soon.
Yeah, because I was so bummed when you guys called it for a minute, and then it was just like, but if you needed that break like that, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I tell bands all the time, like, take a break. These bands are, especially bands now, man. I'm just like, dude, you guys are grinding, and it's like, it's kind of like, for what? Like, it's just like a never-ending wheel, and you're just gonna fucking burn out, man. People will burn out.
Did you feel when you finally came back that you were kind of a more of a force to be reckoned with because you'd had that hiatus?
I think so. I think we were focused. I think we narrowed our focus. We had a new purpose, and it wasn't for anybody else other than ourselves.
You guys have meant a lot to people at very different stages of their lives. Does that feel like a privilege or a lot of pressure at times?
It's a privilege. I've never felt pressure with people personally. I feel like that's always been at the forefront and very true. And it's a privilege. I like hearing people's stories. I like people telling me memories, and you know what I mean? Like what they're going through. I mean, it's part of it. It's just the connection. You know what I mean? And it's part of the job. And I think it's
in light of that, then I'll share with you.
amazing.
So I got married like last year, and when my wife and I started dating, you guys, I don't know how. Well, I know how it happened, but I don't. I was probably listening to you guys at the time, but you guys had a big hand in helping process our emotions, and not in a typical way, but I think I told you at the Camden show, I was one of the few people I think that listened to the audio commentary on your DVD that you did, the This Is Live, This Is Murderous.
Yeah.
And I always remember that, like, the first, when you opened with This Is Love, This Is Murderous, like, you were saying how the everyone poured back and knocked the sound over, and, like, you lost the audio for the first, like, half of that track. And then I always laugh because by like the fourth song, you just burped into the mic and you're like, let me tell you about this sandwich I just ate. And it's like you kind of run out of stuff to talk about. But yeah, what was really funny was when my wife and I first started talking, she actually struggled to process emotions. And I don't know why I thought of it, but I just said to her one day, look, if you if you're struggling and I share something with you and you don't know how to respond, just tell me about the sandwich you ate, because I just remembered that moment that you were like, let me tell you about the sandwich. I just say, just change the subject.
It's a break the ice.
Yeah, and then that,
it's
yeah,
it's the Jerry Seinfeld way.
yeah, and then it turned into like she'd leave an emoji if like she couldn't handle like the emotions I was
Yeah,
throwing out. And now we're great. We only used that system for a couple of months, but it was wild that just such an obscure reference, because I'm a nerd and watched your commentary.
that's so funny, man. That's cool. I almost like don't remember that, and that's really funny. I remember it now, but yeah,
So when someone says that your music helped them survive something, how do you carry that?
it's pretty heavy. Um, but I'm honored. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. Like for me, like a lot of music saved me. You know what I mean? And I couldn't have done this life without music. I couldn't have, navigated through mental issues and being bipolar without having something like that to dive into, you know? And I'm honored. Like I said, like I'm honored to be that person or be the band or write those lyrics that people take something out of that helps them in their life. Because people struggle, man. People are struggling, especially now, you know? I feel like the world is a weird and dark place, and it's like we need music now more than ever.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? It's sometimes really hard to process everything that's going on, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard.
I I did a video the other day. It was talking about like how someone was saying how do you deal with everything that's like going on in the news, and they actually have a psychological term for it, and it's basically when you watch so much chaos, your brain like is like, oh crap, like it switches into panic mode essentially. Um, so I think having an outlet and having because your emotions always come through the record, so it's like yeah,
Yeah,
having that
yeah.
to relate to I think is yeah. Um, so I know we talked about it
Hell
briefly
yeah.
earlier, but when with the fitness thing, when did fitness become a non-negotiable for you?
12 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
I started working out for football and baseball. It was just always part of my life, surfing and being active. And I just remember, like I said, like it just, I knew that if I was going to do music and do it at a level and have longevity, that would be the non-negotiable thing. You know what I mean? Staying ready, um, trying to inspire. You know what I mean? It also helped my mind. You know what I mean? Like you achieve things and it helps. It helps your mind.
But yeah, yeah, because I think I guess essentially from such a young age, I guess it basically becomes identity, doesn't it? Like
It's weird. Like, it's like, I don't think about it, but it's like, I've almost worked out almost every day since I was 12. And now I'm 45. It's just like, it's just something that is just part of me. It's normal. It's my daily. It's like kind of what it's my daily purpose, keeps me going.
I feel that you guys really helped normalize being in shape while touring.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, or was that just personal evolution for you guys?
Just personal. I didn't really realize it was like something that other people were paying attention to until we toured in like 2009, because I would be on tour and I'd be working out in parking lots, and then bands would kind of creep over and I'd be like, dude, jump in. And then all of a sudden I'm getting all these people on tour with us, essentially like I'm training them every day. And that's when I kind of realized, like, dude, like that's what I need to do. That's going to be the other thing I do, my other passion. I think that we're onto something here. I'm like, I just felt like it was, that was the way, that was the path.
Yeah, I'm friends with a couple of the guys in El Nino, and like the percussionist, he like when I first met him, he's like a tall dude, but he was a big dude, and I
Yeah.
watched him like he started working out on tour with Dave the drummer, and Dave's lost a shed load of weight, and like my friend Miggy the percussionist, he's just like he's in serious shape right now, and it's fun to watch. Yeah.
You know what? What's crazy is like a lot of the newer bands, I'm saying newer, but like let's say guys like bands in their like 30s, they're all in pretty good shape. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bands that take it a lot more serious. It's good to see. I mean, I don't know if I had a part in that, but maybe down the road, you know what I mean? But it is good to see like people like taking care of themselves a little bit more, not partying so much, not drinking so much, working out, going to the gym every day. Um, it's good to see because it is going to give those bands longevity.
So you've channeled,
Yeah.
obviously, you channeled pain into music and your discipline into fitness. Do those come from the same place for you, like internally?
Yeah. I think I'm just like an extreme person. Like when I do something, I throw like everything into it. Like I throw my emotion, I throw like my anger, my frustration, my anxiety, my depression. I throw everything at it. And it's like, I just think it's essential to do that. You know what I mean? To open yourself up. And it's, yeah, it comes from the same place, man. It really does.
Yeah, you're kind of an all in guy.
Even like friendships and relationships, like I throw everything into it.
When you think about Bleeding Through's legacy, what matters more to you? Influence on the genre or impact on the individuals that.
Can I say both? Because I'm very proud of the influence we've had on the genre. Um, it's kind of funny. Like, I'll honestly say this, like, I don't, and it's like weird for me to say, but like, I don't think we get enough props for it. You know what I mean? And it's at least from like critics or writers or whatever, like we get left off these lists. And I'm like, do these people not hear This Is Love, This Is Murderous? We have keyboards in our band. Every band has tracks with keyboards in it, with synth, right? Every band, everybody. And I'm sorry, that's from us. And I can't even, it's not even me talking, like that influence came from us, hands down.
If the version of you who wrote This Is Love, This Is Murderous could see you now, what do you think he would say?
Good job keeping it real. Good job not listening to a lot of people that you thought had your back in the industry that were just trying to make us something we weren't, you know? Like, I'm proud of that. Do I think like maybe we would have had like different success or whatever the fuck? Maybe. We were talented enough to do that type of music. But yeah, we just wanted to be real. And we never wanted to let down our fans. You know what I mean? Like, they put so much of their heart and soul into this music and support. And it's like, I know bands say like, we write music for ourselves. I think that's the biggest crock shit ever. Like, you could write music for yourselves, but you also, to me, I feel like you have a responsibility to write a good record for your fans that keep your band around. You know what I mean? I hate that. We write music for ourselves. We don't care. That's bullshit. Then if you don't care, like, don't even tour. Don't try to get the glory from it if you don't care. You know what I mean?
If so, just bringing this to a close. If someone listening to this podcast feels like that they haven't yet found their own strength, physically or emotionally, what would you want them to hear?
If you were stuck, just try to find like the want to, like try to find a reason. Like, it could be something like a simple goal. Like, it could be just like, this week I'm not going to eat that. This week at work I'm going to do this. Start collecting goals. Start proving to yourself that you could succeed and carry out goals and stay disciplined enough to do that. and that will bring you positivity, and that will bring you strength. That will like push you forward. I know that that's what I do. And it's like, then you start to see like the positive pattern. It breaks you out of the funk. Um, do something for yourself. That's a big one too. A lot of people don't do enough for themselves. Like they're just constantly working and constantly trying to please other people. You gotta make sure that you're doing something for yourself. It's important, or you're gonna lose yourself. I'm a victim of that. I am. I've done that plenty of times in my life.
I think that is a really big one because it's the amount of times that we listen to other people's opinion of ourselves, like you were saying with the music industry, like they want you to sound a certain way, look a certain way, or you know, be completely different from who you really are, and do something that is unquestionably you. And yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
Brandon, I just want to say a big thank you for joining me. I really really appreciate your time.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for helping get the word out. Thanks for asking me awesome questions. Thanks for letting me share.